Everybody, it's Anna. Time for our final card in this week's tarot story. We have the Knight of Pentacles reversed. Now, all of our cards this week have been reversed, and that's because most of the work we're looking at is internal. There's a lot of spiritual shifting and a lot of alignment we've been working on this week. If you haven't looked at the other cards for this week's tarot story, I encourage you to do so because they all work really powerfully together in showing us what this week's work has been. The Knight of Pentacles is a great way to end it. So when this card is upright, the Knight of Pentacles is an action card. And all the Knight cards and the trajectories are action cards. They're about having a strategy and moving in the world and making things happen. Pentacles are connected to the physical realm. So this guy is about literally making something happen. And in this card, he's a knight sitting on a plow horse. He's literally tilled a field. So he's tilled this field. It's a very steady, regular, responsible action in order to prepare for a harvest. So when this energy shows up for us upright, it's basically saying, do your work, be steady, show up every day, and because as you invest in that way, you're going to create a harvest. But when the card is reversed, what it tells me is that there isn't a clear action path right now that will lead to a harvest. And so it's best to wait until that action path becomes clear to you. Now, what happens is when we're doing a lot of spiritual inner work, which we've done this week, and we finally kind of come to the end of that work, we can get so excited that we're ready to just hit the ground running and do something. But that's not always the best path, because when you're doing major shifting internally, there is a period afterwards where we need to allow the new stuff to integrate. It's like we're digesting our food. Right after you eat your food, you're not supposed to go swimming, right? Because you need time to digest it. Well, the same is true here. Often when we do spiritual inner work, we don't realize how big a change it makes in us, how big a shift. And so we kind of assume we're ready to keep moving forward, and we're not yet. And that's because we're not completely settled in the new space. So today, consider where you're feeling like you just really want to get moving again, and where you're trying to go a little bit too quickly. You're not really clear what you need to do. You're just trying to burn energy. Well, that's not very helpful because you end up burning all your energy. You kind of miss the chance to integrate the new shift. And then your action steps don't lead to the harvest you really want. So instead, when you feel yourself coming up with that anxiety or that impatience, like you want to do something, remind yourself that there's a lot happening below the surface of things. And it's better to just wait until that feels clear, and then new inspiration arises for you. That's when you start taking action steps. Don't move for the sake of moving. Move because you feel clear and inspired, and because you know the harvest you're investing in. So this weekend, try to be calm, try to quell that energy, or at least soothe that energy, so you can just let this stuff work itself out, trusting that when it works itself out, you'll be on the move again. See you next week for our next tarot story. Bye.